Welcome to Spooktober 2023. Hey Wanderers, welcome back to the Foolish Wanderers podcast, the podcast about anything and everything. Welcome to Spooktober 2023. Woo!
Woo!
It's
That was great.
It's the most anticlimactic intro for Spooktober. I like it.
It's our third. This is the third anniversary of Spooktober, right?
Yes, yep, this will be the third one. So yeah.
Yep. So for any of you that are new to the Foolish Wanderer podcast family, Spooktober is just during the month of October. We focus on episodes that are more spooky, October-y. Do we just so all jokes aside, it's mostly just like cryptids. We do murder mysteries, hauntings, just like more supernatural type episodes.
Yeah, the fascinating, like, spooky stuff. Yeah.
Hence Spooktober.
Yes. And then to kick off Spooktober, we're going to be talking about Spring-Heeled Jack today, but I wanted to start the podcast with one of my favorite seasonal things, pumpkin spice. I am that person. I like pumpkin spice, but not in everything. And this list I have is some of the weirdest pumpkin spice products of 2023 thus far. So yeah, and this doesn't include, I think last year, like Spam, like the canned meat.
Ew.
They had pumpkin spice Spam one year.
That's just a war crime. That sounds horrible.
I think my siblings tried it and they're like, it just tastes like maple Spam, like slightly sweeter Spam. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I can see it. I want to try it now, but
no.
but yeah, so here are some of the strangest things we have found. This is from thetakeout.com. So the first one is Hefty, like the trash bag company.
Yeah.
They have cinnamon pumpkin spice ultra strong scented bags.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's fine because like I buy the ones that smell like Gain, like the laundry detergent. So I buy those.
Yeah. So pumpkin spice.
Lavender ones. So like that's a normal one. I would buy that one.
Yeah. Okay. What about Busch, like Busch Light, the beer? They made pumpkin spice dog brew.
What?
For your dog. It is beer for your dog.
They made beer for your dog.
Yeah. Yep. Pumpkin spice flavored for your dog.
I don't know if I would trust one of like the sort of nastiest, cheapest beer companies in America to make beer for my dog that was pumpkin spice themed. What?
Yeah.
That's so weird. That is really weird.
Yeah, yep. And then keeping with the dog theme, Krispy Kreme, which I haven't had in a long time, but they're delicious. Krispy Kreme donuts made pumpkin spice doggy donuts.
I mean, that makes more sense because it's like...
It does, yeah. It's not as far out there as a beer for your dog.
Like, for Inca's birthday this year, Mr. Kendra made her a little pup cake. And it was just like, it's just pumpkin puree, and like little like carrot bits and a little bit of like flour or whatever, and that's it. So I mean, they can have like pumpkin puree and whatnot, but like pumpkin spice beer for dogs.
That's too far. I love that's what you're stuck on.
I mean, I don't know. I don't like thinking of my fur baby drinking beer.
Yeah, that's true. I don't remember what episode it was, but there was one a while back where we talked about cat wine. So it's like wine for your cat.
Do you really want to see your fur baby drinking cat wine?
I don't think she would drink it just because Ray is she's kind of a picky cat. To be honest with you,
she wouldn't like that sort of...
No, she likes like salty stuff. Like she'll eat saltine crackers. She loves saltine crackers.
Yes,
she loves chicken. She loves chicken nuggets.
Ooh, nuggies.
Oh, she loves nuggies. Speaking of nuggets, I found so Tyson chicken nuggets I found in Walmart the other day. Spooky nuggets. They're shaped like pumpkins and ghosts and bats, and I have them in my freezer. I'm excited.
Okay. Are they like fried at all, or are they just like they're just
shaped. It's like the dino nuggets, but spooky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good. I bet they're gonna taste spooky.
The same. Yeah, but I'm excited.
That's the little joys.
Yeah, I was just walking past the end cap and I saw them and I immediately opened up the end cap and grabbed a bag. So
It's the
I was
little
like,
joys in life, isn't it?
yes, the simple joys make me
Yes.
happy.
Like Spooky Nuggets by Tyson.
Sponsor me, please.
Sponsor us,
Okay.
please.
Okay, so the next one I have is pumpkin spice avocado oil caviar.
No. I'm already saying no.
It's
What was it?
caviar.
Caviar? Oh, wait, avocado oil caviar?
Yeah, olive avocado oil, pumpkin spice caviar.
No, thank you. Why? Why? Why?
I don't know, it's 19.99 though, so I mean, it's affordable if you wanna try it.
I would not. Okay, I don't
Okay.
wanna sound like a picky person, like picky eater, whatever, but, like,
Uh-huh.
I would not buy $19 caviar. I don't think I would trust it.
I mean, I get
That's like I think in my head, I could be, like, blowing this out of proportion, but I
mhm.
think it's, like, equivalent to gas stations sushi.
Okay, yeah, the cheaper
Okay.
stuff is not always as good,
Yeah,
yeah, it might make you sick.
and safe, yeah. Not saying
But
anything, but yeah, and safe.
yeah. Yeah, caviar is not, like, in my wheelhouse, like, I don't have caviar budget, so,
Mhm. Yeah, I
I
don't
wouldn't
either. Once a year.
you actually eat caviar?
For, like, my birthday, I'll have, like, a special, like, little, like, something something.
Okay, yeah. You're getting the $1,000 little ounce
No,
of
I'm not. I'm not. It's
okay.
like I don't even think it's, like, mid-range budget. I bet it's, like, lower, but it's not
But it's,
$19.
like it's nicer.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just, like, little it's, like, barely it's, like, the smallest little can like, those little Burt's Bees, like,
It's like
finger
an ounce.
salve?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, like, that big.
Yeah.
It's, like, a dollop.
That's all you need, though. You
It's
don't
a
need to be eating
dollop.
a whole, like, soup can of caviar.
It's a dollop.
A little dollop for your birthday.
Mhm.
Okay, so the last one I'm gonna talk about on this list are okay, so do you know the brand of, like, wipes for men called Dude Wipes?
Do I?
So
Yes, I do.
do you have experiences with them?
They are in the bathroom that is a half bath that is dubbed the peasant bath at our house, and that is the bathroom that Mr. Kendra frequents. And little Inca also gets her when she gets, a messy butt, she
Oh,
gets
no.
wiped down with dude wipes.
Okay, well,
Yep,
Miss
so
Inca can
they're
smell
yep.
like pumpkin spice.
That would actually be cute. I would do that one, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That one I would
I
do.
mean, I don't think I'd want to use them myself, because I don't really wanna smell like a latte, but
Right.
a dog I can see. Yeah, like Inca, she could be walking around, like, smelling like a little latte.
Yeah, that's cute. Like a dog, not but, like, you don't want your, like, man husband to, like, smell like that. You're like, "What?"
Like, what did you do with her? Okay, should we get into Spring Heel Jack?
Yes,
Okay.
let's get into the main topic.
The main spooky of it all. Okay, so to start off, I kind of wanted to set the scene of like what the time period that this whole like story came out of, right? So we're going back to the 1800s London. And
Yay! I'm such a
yeah,
sucker for, like, Victorian London.
yeah, it's also a very horrid time to live there.
Oh, horrible.
It's extremely bad. So during the 1800s, London, England exploded in population. Basically, so like in the beginning of the 1800s, they had about like 1 million people living there. So like that's a big city at the time, but like nothing compared to the 5 million they'd have by 1900.
5,000,000?
5 million. So they went
So
from 1
okay.
million to 5 million in 100 years.
Okay, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good, but so many of the new people coming in were poor immigrants, like from the countryside and stuff that they wanted to come to look for new job opportunities, right?
Right.
But most of these people ended up living in the city's slums, and they were not great places to live. Basically, they were hot, extremely overcrowded, and they had very little sanitation and like no running water until like the 60s.
The 1860s?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, I was like,
So-
the 1960s? I'm like,
no, not the
"What in the
1960s.
heck?"
No, they're more civilized than that.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, so like they didn't have plumbing and like like I'm sure like upper class had like something, right? But like anywhere below like extreme upper class, they didn't have plumbing inside till like the 1860s. Also the smells. So imagine you mix some tobacco smoke,
Poop.
horses, garbage, and various other human smells.
Mhm.
It's all together in a very tight, cramped area.
Ugh.
so not pleasant at all.
Ugh.
Very horrendous. um, and like I said, there's no like indoor plumbing until the 1860s, and so basically all the waste was just thrown into the River Thames. So yeah, basically it's like anything from like your human waste, it's food scraps, it's if your horse died, you toss them in the river, or sometimes even people. We might get to that later, a separate episode for Spooktober, but yeah. So this river, you don't go swimming in it.
No, I'm sure that the like just being outside, like walking around in the streets, must smell horrid, especially like near like River Thames and stuff. Like
Yep.
it's just over polluted. Everything's
Oh,
polluted.
yes.
The streets are polluted. I bet people would like just like dump their bedpans out onto the street.
Oh yeah,
from, like,
I'm pretty sure there's like stories of people just walking and then they get covered in it just because
Mhm.
they just open up the window and chug it. They don't
Yep.
look.
So instead of like watching out for pigeons
Mhm.
pooping on you, you gotta watch out for bedpans.
Yep. Oh goodness, this is great. Um, what a time to be alive.
So that's what we're dealing with. Everyone's like doesn't have indoor plumbing, and that makes them very like I don't know psychopathic
Kind of, but like
on
they didn't
edge.
really know like any different, right? Like at this time, so it's kind
Right.
of. But yeah, no, like people are not happy. They're not having fun in these areas. And there's a little side story. So apparently, in the summer of 1858, it got so hot that the river water levels dropped significantly, which left large banks of sludgy waste in its place.
Ugh,
And even Queen
that
Victoria.
smelled like pumpkin spice.
Oh, I wish that'd be so lovely, but no. They need some dude wipes, but that didn't happen. um, so apparently, even Queen Victoria was affected by the smell sometimes. Apparently, this summer, she tried to enjoy a river cruise down the River Thames, but abandoned the idea when the stench got to her.
Oh, poor her. Her little
I know.
river cruise.
It's like, yeah, I know. Yep.
Poor her.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do like Queen Victoria because, she had a bushel of Pomeranians. So, can you imagine like she wants to go and she loved her Pomeranians like more
Oh,
than her kids. Like
yeah.
she had a bunch of kids and she just kind of was like, I just kind of had you because I needed to have you for, the monarchy purposes. Y'all can go run around and do whatever and spend the money. I just kind of want to chill here, run the country with my Poms.
Yep.
And then she wanted to probably go on a river cruise with just Pomeranians.
All of them just laid out on the deck and just like
Yep.
sunbathing with glasses on.
Yep.
Oh, heck
And
yeah.
then she probably has like the little umbrella, the little like parasol.
Yep.
But yeah, then it got ruined because of the nasty,
Yep.
the nasty sludge.
Oh, delicious. Okay, so, and then as the capital of the largest empire in global history, London was a place of importance at the time, right? Still
Mhm.
is. So most British aristocratic families maintained properties in the city, which were especially used during the quote London season, which is a period in the summer when it was customary for the wealthy to come to the city for social events, like such as trooping of the color, but it's basically like, I think there's like a celebration of like the guards and stuff.
Cool.
And then races at Epsom and Ascot, and those are like horse races.
Mm-hmm.
So many of the grand hotels and public buildings today began their life as private homes for the rich. So that's kind of cool. So like on the one side of living in London, there's extreme wealth, and then while the other side was extreme poverty. So there's not too much in the middle. You're either like super wealthy and like
Yep.
clean, not really clean because they're kind of still gross, but cleaner, and then extremely filthy, nasty living conditions.
No middle class really yet.
Not yet, not really, no. And also at this time, basically like anything would kill you, even your food. Like your food was poisoned, just not like on purpose necessarily, but like on purpose, but not like they wanted to kill you. It's a whole thing. They put alum in like flour to make it feel
Yeah,
denser.
wasn't like
And
their makeup had like lead and everything in it too?
makeup wasn't good, food wasn't good, water wasn't clean. It just was.
Medicine wasn't helpful.
No, no, it wasn't. Yeah, so don't put this on your time travel bucket list because don't go there. Even though unless you're the rich people, but like still don't go there.
Like,
Okay,
what if you could just like look like from a drone or something,
just like a little
or just
blimp
like be like
going over.
invisible or something?
Okay, yeah, I could
And
see that.
you can only be there for like like an hour, and then you just back to present day.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I could see that. Just kind of snoop around, try on
Yeah,
some
you're like
dresses.
invisible,
Okay, yeah,
like a ghost. Yeah,
like a ghost.
like
A
Casper,
Christmas past.
like Casper.
Okay, the friendly ghost.
The
Okay.
little boy ghost.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get into the story of Spring-Heeled Jack now. So Spring-Heeled Jack began tormenting London in 1837. So, and the very first recorded sighting of him was from a servant named Mary Stevens. She reported that while she was walking to Lavender Hill,
Did Lavender Hill smell like lavenders, or did it smell like crap?
I'm sure it's a mixture of both.
Crap, it just smelled like.
It just all smells not great. So she was walking to Lavender Hill when a figure leaped out at her, grabbed her, and started scratching at her with claws, like
What?
metal
Was it a
claws.
cat?
No. And this is one of the main descriptors of Spring-Heeled Jack. So he had like metal claws at the end of his gloves. It's
But
a whole
what kind of like Broadway showman is this? Like he just like leaps out in front of you, and starts like just like going like and like scratches you with his little like Michael Jackson claw gloves. What?
Yep. Yeah, basically, yeah. We'll kind of
What
get
kind
into
of
it.
like that's like okay.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
All
Oh, I
right.
should have asked you. Have you ever read much into Spring-Heeled Jack at all?
I
Or
only know it from like the Assassin's Creed game Syndicate.
okay.
And I mean, it took place, I think, in like almost the 1889, maybe. I think Syndicate took place, but
Okay.
I mean, I don't even know if it was Spring-Heeled Jack per se.
Yeah, we'll
It-
kind of get into like the timeline of like when
Okay.
people think like because there's like copycats, they think. So we'll kind of get into like when they think it officially was not him
Okay.
anymore.
But like the thing about it, just like quick little thing about
Okay.
Assassin's Creed, I think it was Spring-Heeled Jack. It was just like a little
Mhm.
side mission thing, and you just had to like stab this ghost
Oh,
that
it was a
kept like
ghost?
jumping. Yeah, I mean, it was just
Okay.
like this ghoul guy that had like a magician, and he kind of just like jumped from like building to building, and then you had to
Okay.
kill him.
That might have been him, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to look into that. So Mary's screams drew the attention of a passerby who searched for the assailant but was never able to locate him. So it's kind of like a thing with Spring-Heeled Jack is like he'll attack somebody and as soon as he's caught or like seen, he'll get out of there like as fast as he can.
Okay.
So following this first account, several other young women reported similar sightings throughout suburban London. So according to early reports, the attacker was described as a shape-shifting figure, ghostly in appearance and with gloves in the shape of claws. He was also quoted to look like a ghost, an imp, or the devil in the shape of a large white bull. And I don't understand the bull part because it is very human shaped, but
Yeah,
yeah.
why a bull? It's just because it has like horns?
I think, yeah, the horns, I think, but that's about as close as I think as it's gonna get to a bull. So yeah. Yep.
That person was an idiot.
They're just like, they're high on life, you know?
The
You gotta-
fumes from outside, the poisonous fumes
Yep.
from the Thames. Yeah.
Yep, you got a little too big of a whiff there.
Yep.
So rumors of the strange figure swirled around London for about a year, with the press giving him the nickname Spring-Heeled Jack. Then during this time, Jack was thought to be nothing more than exaggerated gossip or ghost stories. That was until the following year. So during the night of February 20th, 1838, a young woman by the name of Jane Alsop claimed that a gentleman wearing a cloak rang her doorbell late one night. When she opened the front door, the man pretended to be a policeman that had caught Spring-Heeled Jack and asked her for a candle.
What?
Yeah, he was like pretending to be a policeman and was like, "Hey, do you have a candle? I need a candle."
Instead of a cup of sugar, it's a candle.
Yeah, can you have a cup of sugar?
Hey,
No,
but like
candle.
candles suck at giving off light.
I mean, what are you gonna do right at this?
I
Like, you don't
know.
have flashlights.
They have like oil lamps though,
That's true.
and like lanterns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's like a little. Can I just have a one wick candle? I'm telling you, this guy, the Spring-Heeled Jack guy, is a performer, like little theater kid nerd at heart.
Yeah.
He's got his little. He's springing around, and now he comes to this lady's door with a cloak on,
Uh-huh.
and then he's like, "Can I have one candle?" He's like Phantom of the Opera kind of thing.
Kind
Like
of,
he's
yeah.
a showman.
Very much so. Yeah, and if you Google pictures of him, it's very flashy, very like costume-esque.
Yes, look at this photo you have up
Very-
here. He's doing like Freddie
man.
Mercury, like flamboyant, like
Yeah,
with his cape thing. Like he's really selling it. He's
he
like,
is.
"Hi,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so like if you Google Spring-Heeled Jack, a very common image you'll find is like a dark-haired man, a lot of times with a mustache, white pants, black leather boots, a black
Knee
shirt.
high, knee high. You want to say
Knee-high boots.
knee high black leather boots?
Yep.
There's a heel on there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's fabulous. Look at him. Look at him pose. He's like
I mean,
pose.
He looks like he belongs on Broadway.
It
It looks like Broadway theater. It does.
I would laugh my ass off if this thing came to like cat scratch fever me.
Just tickling you with his little
Yeah,
claws.
tickle you with his little claws. Ask you for a candle, and then like flounce his little cape thing up, and then jump away.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Whee! Although I don't think it'd be very cute, like if you're actually getting scratched by him. I think it'd be pretty terrifying. But
Oh, I would kick that anemic little Victorian toad in the dick.
I'm gonna
You
bleep
wouldn't
that.
stand a chance.
I'm gonna bleep that out. But okay.
You
Okay.
wouldn't stand a chance.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, so back to Jane. So, when Jane returned with the candle, Spring-Heeled Jack then took off his cloak to reveal a tight-fitting clothes that resembled a white oilskin. So, oilskin is a waterproof cloth, often used for...
Wait,
Tight.
read that again. What?
Yeah, okay, so underneath
He
his
asked
fancy
for the
little cloak...
candle. He has his
Yeah.
little cloak on. Okay.
Yep, he has his little cloak. He takes off the cloak, and underneath, he has tight-fitting clothes that resembled a white oilskin.
What's a white oilskin?
I'm getting to that.
Okay. This already just
So-
sounds like he's just a Broadway actor. He's just a dancer at heart.
Oh, yes, he's fabulous.
Uh-huh.
So oilskin is a waterproof cloth used for making garments typically worn by sailors and by other, like in other wet areas. So like I'm thinking like rain jacket kind of vibes.
How does this woman see this when he's like in the dark asking for one candle? Like, how was she taking that in? Like, I think that this cloth is oilskin.
It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if she had like another lamp with her, like a oil lamp or something. I don't know. That's not explained. He just asked for a candle. And then he was like, jump scare. He got tight clothes.
Skin tight clothes.
Skin tight clothes under here.
Just Rodney Batman.
He is, yes. Okay, so then apparently, after he ripped off his cloak to reveal his tight clothes, he then breathed blue and white flames onto her face and began to cut her clothes with his claws. So now he breathes fire.
Okay. It's just like a stage, stage
Yeah.
trick.
Yep. So luckily for Jane, her sister was actually like in the same house with her and scared off Spring-Heeled Jack.
So he's scared of any other.
Basically, yeah. Like if there's any other person around, he like runs away.
Okay.
So he's not somebody that wants to get caught. Like he's not necessarily.
I don't
gonna
think he
kill
could
you.
take them. Like I don't think he can.
Probably not. No.
Like
He's probably just like there to mess with you and then skedaddle. Okay, so also around this time, the Lord Mayor offered a 10-pound reward, or now around like 800 pounds, to help catch Spring-Heeled Jack. So he's so much of a nuisance at this point. They're like, we'll give you $800 if you can catch him.
But isn't that a lot?
It's not a lot, but like he's not killing people yet, so like
Just kind of like one of those like little crappy neighbor kids or something that like smashes the mailboxes or like the pumpkins.
yeah.
He just kind of is that.
Kind of, yeah, except
Right?
he rips your clothes with his claws. I think
I mean,
that
so do a lot of like cats and other little weird delinquent things.
okay. But like if you think about too, like if you're really starving for money, like people at these days are like living pennies to pennies. Like $800 could change your life.
That's true.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of a nice amount of cash.
That's a good point.
So apparently after this attack, a man named Thomas Milbank was arrested and tried for the attack on Jane Alsop. However, due to her insistence that the attacker could breathe fire, he was not convicted. So because Thomas couldn't breathe fire, he was like, oh yeah,
At that
you're free to
moment
go.
in time. Yeah, they're really.
They're like, oh, you're good.
Okay.
Yep, you're scot-free. Then just a few days later, a similar account was reported by an 18-year-old woman named Lucy Scales. She was out walking with her sister in Limehouse when a figure leaped at her from an alley and blew flames into her face. Again, yeah, he just like breathed fire directly in her face. And then apparently, so some sources say that she had like almost like a seizure.
Oh,
so, like, she was
gosh.
so scared, like she had like a panic attack or like a seizure. So this wasn't good, obviously. And the attacker
went too far.
he went a little too far at this point. Cut the
Mhm.
flames out, get rid of the flames. So the attacker left the scene and was never found, though several men were brought in for questioning. So it doesn't really say like what happened to them after their question, but I'm
Okay.
assuming couldn't breathe fire. You're free to go.
Yeah, you're free to go. Can't breathe fire. Can't prove it. Yep.
Yep. So there were 2 investigations into the Jane Alsop attack. One investigation was done by 2 members of the Stephanie-based Least, Superintendent Young and Inspector Guard. So the second investigation was Detective James Lee, who was employed by the Lambeth Street Police Office and was reportedly considered the best detective in London at the time.
Okay.
So they're all looking into this case.
A lot of pressure.
So Lee reported his findings to the magistrate judge on the 22nd of February, so like 2 days later, stating that he believed that the attacker had been from the neighborhood been in the neighborhood for close to a month before the attack and had been almost caught at least once. So like he's around the area. Like just to hear that, in my opinion, like even today, like to have somebody around your area and like planning an attack, like that's terrifying. Even if it's not like meant to kill you, like just having like no idea, like I don't know, it's scary to me.
But the shoe is about to sort of maybe drop at a
Yeah, like
point.
people were like, oh yeah, there's this weird dude just hanging out in this area. He hasn't done anything yet, but he's here, and all of a sudden he does something and is not seen again. Like it's creepy. So Lee went on to say, quote, a person answering precisely his size and figure had been frequently observed walking about the lanes and lonely places, enveloped in
It's
a
a
large,
lonely place.
I think like a quiet place, like a corner, just like chilling.
That sounds sad. Lonely places.
A lonely place. Yeah, I think it's just like a really quiet area.
Doesn't
Yeah.
Garth Brooks sing about that or something? No, it's low places.
Okay, I don't know.
You don't know that song? What?
Uh-uh.
That's like Sweet Caroline equivalent. That's
Sing
like
for me.
Piano Man equivalent too,
Oh, I
I
love
think.
Piano Man. That's a good song.
How do you not know Friends in Low Places?
Sing a little bit for me. Maybe I know.
I don't want to. You have to just Google it yourself.
Okay. Do you want me to Google like actually?
Yeah, you can. Not now, but later.
Okay, later I will.
You'll
Okay.
know it. He's like,
Maybe I do. Yeah, I don't think I know that one.
Really?
I don't think so. I don't listen to Garth Brooks though, so.
But I mean, like, you don't have to listen to it. It's like they play it all like in the bar. It's like Don't Stop Believing, like that. You know, it's like Margaritaville, Friends in Low Places. Like it's in that realm of it. Just everybody sort of it's like crosses genres.
Okay,
you know?
I Google. I'm gonna Google quick. Hold on. My voice.
How do you not know this song?
Oh, I've heard it. Okay.
See, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
It would drive me crazy if you're like,
Oh,
I don't know
man.
it. It's like you have to hear it somewhere. You don't even have to like it. Like
Yeah.
everyone's heard this song. I swear.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard it. Okay, back to Jack. Okay, so apparently this figure matching Jack's description was seen also in lonely places and also enveloped in a large Spanish cloak. And
What?
yeah, so we've seen in a cloak, so this matches up.
Spanish cloak.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either, but okay.
Yeah.
They're just targeting the Spaniards. They're just like.
I think it's like the
Spanish?
style.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
It's more fabulous, more cut, more like.
More fabulous. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and sometimes in the habit of carrying a small lantern about him. So,
He
like,
just sounds like Phantom of the Opera.
he does. Yeah, he just hides in the shadows and waits to strike. Yeah.
He's like a weirdo, total weirdo.
He's a theater nerd.
Mhm.
Great. So all three of the investigators agreed that Jane Alsop had certainly been attacked, but that the shock and fear had caused her to mistakenly describe his appearance, which happens quite often, like even today. So, and they concluded that it was nothing more than a drunken frolic that had nothing to do with Spring-Heeled Jack, and that the white oilskin and helmet was merely a white shooting coat and cap with a peak at the front. So they're like, it's just a drunk guy that knocked at your door and asked for a candle.
It's still kind of really weird.
It's really weird.
Maybe
But, like,
it's the Phantom of the Opera and he's looking for his Christine.
that's true. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe
He
he's
doesn't have
looking for Christine and then when he doesn't find her, he like claws in their faces up and then he like blows fire on them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Mhm.
just looking through her for like in lonely places.
Mhm.
Oh man. Yeah, so with these conclusions that it was a human male instead of a supernatural devil-like creature, did nothing to stop the widespread fear around the capital, and reported sightings and rumors of people having violent fits continued. So like people were still like freaking out. They're like, because Jane saw this. That for right now there are like people are freaking out that he's like a supernatural devil that's here to like kill you and all this stuff, right? And, like some people are like, oh, he's just a human messing with people, and some are like, oh,
I
he's
think
supernatural.
it's scarier that it's a human.
I think so too. I think
It's like
yeah,
unhinged running around in
Mhm.
like an outfit, like a costume.
in an outfit. That's it. That's what makes it terrifying. The
Mhm.
outfit. Yeah,
Well, the clawing and the breathing of fire.
that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, the outfit. The outfit's a scary part. Okay, so after the attacks on Jane and Lucy, Spring-Heeled Jack sightings were reported from all around England. So this is kind of also probably like a little bit of hysteria.
Yep.
People are like, in copycats
Social
and stuff.
contagion.
Yep. So even reaching parts of Scotland. So his victims were most commonly described as young women, and they all described similar accounts of a mysterious man, thin in tight-fitting clothes, red eyes, and claws for hands.
Like they're like interviewing the ladies. They're like, "Oh my gosh, he was horrible. He was horrible. Oh, he had the most fabulous outfit. Oh, it was great outfit." And
Great
then he
outfit.
clawed
10
it. And he clawed it. Yeah, they're like the outfit.
The outfit's 10 out of 10. But then he clawed my face, and I said no.
Yep.
So, as the rumors spread, the story of Spring-Heeled Jack began to take on a life of its own, as it usually does. So many plays, novels, and penny dreadfuls featuring Spring-Heeled Jack were written throughout the second half of the 19th century, cementing his status as a figure of urban legend. So, in case you're not aware of like what penny dreadfuls are, and I wasn't quite sure either, they were apparently cheap, popular serial literature.
Like Pulp Fiction.
Yep, there you go.
Yep.
Produced during the 19th century or the 1800s in the United Kingdom.
Yep.
The term was roughly interchangeable with penny horrible, penny awful, and penny blood. The term technically referred to a story published in weekly parts of 8 to 16 pages, and they costed 1 penny. So just like cheap little stories you could read, like basically horror stories to read around the campfire kind of things.
And I only knew that because I used to watch a TV show called Penny Dreadful, and it took place in London in like the late 1800s or something, and it was like a supernatural, like vampires and like, cults, Satan, stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, nice. So as time went on, reports of Spring-Heeled Jack sightings grew even more bizarre, perhaps fueled by popular fictitious accounts. Yeah. Even more superhuman traits were attributed to him, including the ability to leap through the air and over buildings.
Over buildings?
Yeah, so that's why he's called Spring-Heeled Jack, because he would jump over buildings to get away.
Parkour!
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 He's like the best Assassin's Creed character ever.
Yeah, if you can just bound in the building in one leap,
Yep.
yeah.
So the descriptions of Jack were all over the place, and sometimes so outlandish that when these tales hit the pages of the major London papers, most of the press became skeptical. The Lord Mayor of London, John Cohen, came out in January of 1838 to address the growing number of stories, bringing up the theory that the attacks were perpetrated by a gang of wealthy jerks. So by wealthy jerks, basically it's like a bunch of rich kids that are bored out of their minds and do evil things. And that's been like a thing throughout history. There's so many messed up stories of like rich, especially like rich young men that do terrible things just because they can and that's for fun for them.
But like their title is wealthy jerk, or are you just saying like, are you just
That's
calling
what
them a jerk?
just calling them a jerk. That's what
Okay. I was like, I
Cohen
didn't know
called
if that was like where jerk came from, like it was a gang name, or I was like, okay.
I don't think so. I think it's just, I think you just called them jerks.
Okay.
Yeah. So, however, that didn't stop the legend from growing. And as the papers reported more accounts, the devilish figure came to be called Spring-Heeled Jack, as many of the reports involved the creep leaping in front of or away from his victims in such a way that no mortal man could be capable of. So while many of the initial reports of Jack's attacks took place in outlying hamlets and villages, both Alsop and Scales cases took place closer in the city, and received a great deal more attention, stoking the fires of Spring-Heeled Jack's legend. So then copycat attackers were captured here and there, trying to take advantage of the legend. The mischievous devil made a series of appearances at the Aldershot military base, where he harassed and terrified sentry guards in 1877, and then in 1904 Jack made what is considered his last confirmed appearance in Liverpool, where he was witnessed leaping up and down the street before jumping onto the rooftops and bounding away forever.
Oh, forever?
Forever, he went bye-bye.
Oh.
But he's been, like, he's like an old man at this point. Like,
in
he started
77, yeah. Started in, what was it, 38?
Yeah,
68 or something? 38, okay.
38. Yep. So he's been doing it for a long time. If this is him, like a lot of people think that for a couple years it was him, and then also just like copycats or like a group.
Handed down the role, yeah.
Yep. So now we're gonna get into a couple theories of what people thought and like still think, because no one truly knows what or who Spring-Heeled Jack was.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna talk about some theories. So a popular theory at the time was that he really was a ghost or devilish figure, and a more modern theory is that he was an alien creature that had come to Earth to terrorize people. Other theorists prefer a more human explanation that Spring-Heeled Jack was a man or made up of different men over the years, which is kind of what I think. So she has like that wide of a span.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that used theatrics or signs to frighten and hurt people, which it's very theatrical. So I
Yep.
think it was, a bunch of
My
theater
theory
kids.
is a bunch of like theater nerds.
Yeah, probably rich theater kids. So one of the main, or like the main suspect in this, like throughout history, was the Marquis of Waterford. So Henry Beresford, he has been considered the suspect since the 1830s. So basically, since this whole thing began. He was infamous around London for his vandalism, his misogyny, and using violence for his own amusement. So that kind of checks a bunch of boxes right there. It was also noted that he loved pranks and would do anything for a bet. This behavior led him to getting the nickname the Mad Marquis. As an example, Beresford was the party animal behind an incident that created the phrase "painting the town red."
Oh, that's not something you want to be associated with. Okay.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
So although he was a popular suspect, there was no hard evidence to suggest that he was Spring-Heeled Jack. And one story says that a servant boy escaped from Jack in South London, and he said that he saw an elaborate crest on the attacker's costume and included the letter W. People assumed that it stood for Waterford.
Okay.
So they also point out that this incident doesn't appear in the newspapers of the time. It's more likely a fiction invented to support the theory. So, like, it's not, like, actually written in any articles. It's just kind of, like, a story that's been passed down.
Just to, like, try to
prove that it was
him.
Waterford,
So like, oh, we saw this crest and he had a W on it.
Yep.
And it was a crest. You know who has a crest? His last name starts with a W.
Oh.
That weirdo Waterford.
Yep.
So was he into like musical theater or like dancing? Do you know? Or
I don't know. I didn't do too much research on him, I guess. But he was like into parties and stuff. So I'd assume that he was into like theater and like theatrics, just any good time basically. So Beresford lived near the locations of the early 1837 and 1838 attacks. And sightings dried up after he left London in 1842 and went back to Ireland. So that kind of matches the time frame.
but wouldn't
He's in
some
that
of it
area.
pop up in Ireland too? Do you think?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if you wanted to keep doing it, I don't know. It depends, like, if you got bored or thought of something else you wanted to do. Like, this could have just been like I'm here in London, I'm gonna mess with people, and
Yeah,
I'm
this is
bored of
my
that.
summer. This is my summer. Yeah.
Yeah. So that could have been what it was, but who knows? And he died in 1859. So if he was Jack, then the figure seen in the 1860s onwards was a copycat, which I kind of think,
yeah,
it makes more sense because like you can't, like logically speaking, like if this even was like a man in his 20s or whatever, like how old he would have been, like 60s at that point.
I don't know.
But he would have been pretty old at like that point, like getting into the 1877 range. So like I don't think you're running away as quickly. But yeah, I think it was a bunch of copycats. Like I think it probably was Waterford or Henry Besford, and then somebody copied him, or just like a gang of his friends like joined in. I think that's probably what it was. We don't know. So authorities referred to many of Jack's early appearances as pranks, and indeed several newspapers also pointed out that quote, certain it is that robbery was not the motive, for he was never known to take a single coin from his victims. And this helped the widespread belief that the Marquis of Waterford was behind the scheme because he didn't need the money. So like it wasn't like somebody trying to like rob somebody of like their few pennies. It was, just having fun. And despite Jack's physical attacks on his victims, his intention seemed to be scaring them, not killing them. He was accused of murdering a prostitute in the 1840s, but the original stories from 1837 and 1838 focus on just torn clothes. So and again, like with all the hysterics around this time, it's kind of hard to know exactly if it was Jack or if it was somebody else covering. Yeah. By the turn of the century, he was thought to be less like a real entity and more of just a figure of folklore, like he is today. So yeah, he's kind of like a bouncy little devilish man in tight pants jumping over buildings.
The fabulous cape.
Yeah, that breathes fire and has little claws. Yeah. So what did you think about Spring?
I liked it. I like him.
Think he's fabulous?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be in for Halloween, though?
No.
But Yeah, that's kind of it's not like a super scary Spooktober yet, but it's kind of like, I don't know, trickery, like spooky trickery.
Yeah, spooky trickery is a good. I think it's a great episode to open up on.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, spooky trickery.
Spooky trickery. All right, Wanderers, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any suggestions for any future episodes, please feel free to email us at fwplisteners@gmail.com.
And as always, new episodes of the FWP are released weekly to wherever you get your podcast from, including this place that you're listening to right now.
Hey. All right, Wanderers, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.